think it's about time. Distinguished guests, distinguished HoloBase users, and all the friends, I'm happy to welcome your participation in HoloBase Online Event. I'm Linda from HoloBase team. Welcome. This is the third event of our online events. The theme of our series of events is Changes and Opportunities in the Post-Pandemic Era in Southeast Asia. And today we will talk about how would startups survive against the backdrop of the economic slowdown. This is a special exclusive webinar for HoloBase users to share ideas with each other. I'm sorry that it takes a while for us to organize this event. There will be more events coming. We hope to achieve more communication and connection between Chinese VC, corporations, market, and overseas companies. So first, allow me to briefly explain the meeting agenda today. For the next hour, I will first introduce our platform, HoloBase. And then I will give a brief recap of our last two e-meetings with Richard and Jonathan. And for this meeting, we also invited two of our users to share their ideas on how would startups survive against the backdrop of the economic slowdown. At last, there will be Q&A session and discussion session. We will open the floor and invite more participants to take part in the discussion. So I would like to introduce our platform, HoloBase, properly. First, HoloBase was founded in 2018 as a lab product of GeekPark, a leading tech media in China. We would like to bridge the gap between China and the rest of the world, especially those emerging markets which need resources of technology, human investment, and management. We approach this goal by offering daily news, industry trends, financing information, analytic reports, and yellow pages of Chinese tech companies. All the information we present here is based on a combination of both algorithm and human editors. The algorithm is far more efficient in the way of searching and analyzing data, and the editors know better about what you need. As a professional tech media, we would like to help tech communities and markets grow and spread by tracking the path of China's rising tech companies and seize the opportunity of becoming the next unicorn. So as you can see in this PPT, HoloBase basically provides our members with three services: information, database, and community access. So here comes my regular line. For anyone who hasn't signed up for HoloBase, you can go to our website or download HoloBase app in the App Store. And if you haven't joined our HoloBase community on WhatsApp, there's a link for you in the chat room. You're also welcome to invite your friends to join us. So in our last two e-meetings, HoloBase invited Richard Xu, the US chef representative of Grandview Capital, and Jonathan Zhong, the founding partner of ATM Capital, to share their ideas about the challenges and new opportunities for venture capital in the Southeast Asian market in the post-pandemic era. And Richard Xu thinks the crisis presents an opportunity for those companies to leapfrog many economic activities. A number of new trends and opportunities have emerged, such as remote working mode, online education, online healthcare. The crisis pushed many companies transform into the digital world, as business will be required to run more efficiently after a big reset. Specifically, the healthcare, education, retail, and agriculture sectors will see a new wave of digitalization. Opportunities and challenges are all coming. Companies which want to survive from the pandemic need to transform into more flexible and effective working mode and advance with the times. And Jonathan Zhong believes that Southeast Asia is still the world's most compelling digital investment destination. Before the outbreak, Southeast Asian venture capital deal activity was relatively healthy. The internet economy was growing at an unprecedented rate. The investment trends were positive. Jonathan thinks that the crisis also presents the long-term opportunities. The changes of customer behavior during COVID-19 pandemic may form the transformational trend to supply side. The traditional business will usher an opportunity to accelerate its transformation. The digital upgrading of traditional industries may speed up. And despite the impact of the pandemic, Southeast Asia is still the world's most compelling digital investment destination after China and India. And it is believed that it can quickly recover from the impact of the pandemic. We definitely gained a lot from these wonderful speakers. So we come up with this event to provide the platform for our HoloBase users to share ideas about the impact of the pandemic. Next, before the presentations, please allow me to explain the intention of this meeting. The economy has seen a slowdown and businesses are facing life and death problems, which has spread to the venture capital sector. Therefore, in the current situation, how to maintain the survival of business has become a priority. Can you guys push the heads up button? And could you please help me unmute them? It may take a while. So before that, I'll first introduce Mr. Cao first. Mr. Cao is the executive director of Calman. He founded Calman 6 years ago. Before that, he had 15 years of working experience at large enterprise technology companies. Calman is a regional enterprise software company that helps organizations to predict and influence human behaviors by leveraging AI, big data, analytics, and behavioral science. So first, let's warmly welcome Mr. Cao to share with us. Thank you, Mr. Cao. You can start now. I'm so sorry for the internet connection.
Yep. Okay, no worries. Let me share the screen. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I know these sessions are having people from different regions. I saw numbers from other regions as well, like Latin America. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone. Thanks, HoloBase and Linda, to invite myself to share a bit on how companies can possibly navigate the current crisis. And there's some topics that Linda has helped to provide to me to guide the discussions. So to start the sharing proper, and Linda has also helped to share some of the background of myself and the company. And that gives some background information about the topics that I'm going to share. Because what we are facing as a B2B companies in enterprise software space may not 100% resonate with other industry, for example, B2C and so forth. But that can provide some backgrounds on the problem that we are facing and therefore what we have done to mitigate that. So we are a regional enterprise software companies in some dealing with sensitive data from the financial services and government. And we have to send our data scientists down to different countries to execute the projects, to implement the projects for them on site, right? The data can't be taken up. And when the pandemic happened, especially in middle of March, when it's being declared by WHO that it's a global pandemic, we have no choice and send everybody back to their home countries. And I think that's the safest way to take care of our staff. But nevertheless, life still have to go on, projects still have to execute. Initially, the customers are quite reluctant to sort of pause the project. But after some negotiations, some rearrangement, which I'll talk about it in my third part, and we can actually continue to execute the projects, right? And around the same time, when the global pandemic has been declared, the unfortunate news has been streaming in, right? The larger projects, many deals has been being called out, hey, human, sorry. At this moment, we have to consider cancel the projects or postpone the project, right? So I think that's the next thing that hit to us. And I think that's similar situations that hit to many of you guys too, right? Next off, of course, is about collection. So we can continue the projects, and then we hit into the next situation. And 30 days to 60 days to 90 days, I think quite common in this period. But I think as part of the whole pandemic situations, I can't blame them. While they are pretty large, they themselves hit by a lot of issues too. So just give one example. One of my customers is a mid-size lending from companies, multi-finance in Indonesia. And typically every month they will have a few thousands loans being processed, right? And when I try to get the payment settled, told is that they have gotten just one loan done in that particular month in April. And imagine that, I mean, you can't basically get anything. They may not even, if they have no cash, they may not even can pay their staff, right? So we are aware of the situations, and therefore we have other mitigation plans. And next off is that when we deal with larger organizations as our customers or potential customers, the way to get new sales are basically to build trust. Unfortunately, in these situations, there's no face-to-face. In a typical situation is that I'll need to be out in the country. I'm based in Singapore, though I'm Malaysian. But in this case, I can't even travel, right? I can't do face-to-face. And in this case, the old way of getting new sales are basically not possible for from March onwards. So the second topics that we have been given is, so in this case, have we observed what are the changes from the user behavior or needs? So reflected that in our B2B situation, right? Since we are dealing with large corporates and government agencies, before there's pretty much a lot of gung-ho-ness. Typically, people want AI, big data, analytics, as well as behavioral science to help them to increase revenue, get new customers. That's typically the kind of projects that we are executing. What about after COVID? When we declare global pandemic, what happened is that all the needs are basically reversed, changed, right? From more gung-ho about getting more customers, right now they are more risk averse. For banks, they may want to do more stringent and up-to-date AI-powered credit risk scoring, right? They may want to strengthen the collections, and everyone is going through cost cutting. So that's actually the kind of priority change from our customers, and I think that applies to a lot of other industries too. So what do we do next if we are able to survive until now, right? So there are a number of things that we have to carry out to make sure that we can survive, and I'll go through all these points one by one. Number one is that if let's say we projected to bring in $1 a month, in this case, typically, I think everybody would be getting hit 80 cents, 90 cents, rather than $1 per month, right? So the first thing we have to do is that we have to cut the cost so that we don't hit the 80 cents or 90 cents to make sure that we can survive longer. And for us is that we are quite linear in terms of spending in expenses. In this case, after COVID, we have to announce certain measurements to cut down the spending on the expense. So that's one. This is something that I think applicable to a lot of countries, though it may not apply to all the countries. Some countries are doing better than the other. And I'm fortunate to be basically tapping in a few countries that we have presence in. For example, in Singapore and in Malaysia, the government has been extending a lot of measurements to be tapped on. Some will need to apply, some will just, if you are legitimate companies and you have legitimate staff, basically they will just do some wage subsidies and so forth for certain months that under lockdown. So that can help to tide the situations over. In fact, I think certain small little things like, for example, Zoom subscriptions can be subsidized in case for people who are based in Singapore are not aware that can be partially subsidized by the government as well. So those are some of the goodies that as a founder or the management team, I think we all need to take advantage of these government schemes. Next off, we are getting money first by selling our software products. Second is by implementing them. And without implementing them, basically we can't get any money, right, from the implementation standpoint, and the customer can't use. So when we can't present ourselves on site for our data scientists, we need to pivot, and therefore we have implemented a stream of data privacy, stay-at-home data privacy, and also data protections measurements, so that we can continue to implement with the trust built with the customers. Otherwise, then this is not possible, right? And I think one of the challenges I mentioned in point number 1 is that it's about selling. I have to be present, maybe sometimes together with my local partners in different countries to execute the sales. And right now, that's definitely not possible. And therefore, we have to leverage on things that I, to be honest, not quite buy originally, as in we are able to do webinars and online selling. In the old days, I think it may not work, but basically we need to talk to the senior executive of the large organizations. But at the current moment, they are a little bit more open to venture down into the path of having online selling, online meetings, and webinar with us. So therefore, we can still continue to grow our business. Next, I think is not so much of a things that we do during the pandemic, and we are fortunate that we start to build that, invest in that before this thing hit, which is to establish partner networks in different countries that we want to have operation with. So therefore, right now, we just need to strengthen our partner ecosystems. That will help us to sell, that will bring us the leads and also the opportunities. And of course, we will cross-sell together with them online so that we are able to close the deals and carry on with the implementations. And this is particularly important, linked to the point 2 that I talked about. Before that, it's all about cancellation of projects and stuff like that. And so we do chat with them. Hey, I know you don't want to do revenue optimizations right now and so forth. What is the priority for you right now? So that's the questions that we ask. And the feedback mostly are the points that I have listed down in my second slides, right? It's about mitigation risk, it's about how us possibly help them to do collections and so forth. Fortunately is that while in the past we have actually done a bit of projects around that area, and we can basically just say, hey, we have done it for other customers. You want to take a look, and therefore we are turning a potential low sales into a new opportunity. So that's something that we have able to execute well. The other thing is related to the potential collection issues or the challenge faced by potential customers. They themselves will have a credit card, I think, inevitably, even though how big they are. So therefore, make them easy to buy. It's not for us to sell, but make them easy to buy. And therefore, we will need to structure a payment scheme that they are able to afford, rather than having them to pay off perpetually or having an annual contract. We have to say that, yeah, this is an on-air contract, but you can pay quarterly. So in this case, the cash outlay will become smaller for them, right? The fourth topic that I would cover is about where I think HoloBase come from. I think is the China market and the China capital. We hope that from a China capital standpoint, how they can able to help people in Asia region or in other parts of the world is basically to have investment or M&A activities into high potential companies. I think right now is a good time to differentiate not so good companies to high potentials and able to sustain a resilience company. In this case, right, because of COVID, will strike through quite a bit of us to go down to the hill. But for those that survive, I think it's easier to identify and can further their advancement in the Belt and Road initiatives. That's if you following China development is old initiatives. The recent initiatives for China is what has been known as the new infrastructure. For people who know Mandarin, is actually Xingjijian, right? And there are 7 focus areas in the new infrastructure. Basically, 5G is one of them. AI, industry, IoT, and stuff like that are things that China has planned to build up in the next 5-10 years or so. So the same plan can be carried out by the China capital to other regions, so that other regions can also be benefited too with this advancement of technology. With regards to China markets, I think it's a market that everyone would like to enter, we human included. And therefore, I think the hope is that China can continue open access. Due to right now, I think the new Cold War situations, and we have to take steps for more China-leaning or China-friendly markets. I think China can perhaps open more access to us so that we can partner with the companies in China in the growth area, for example, the new infrastructures. This is the last point, is that how we can potentially survive in the current economic slowdown. I have 4 pointers, but I think the most important one is the first one and the last one, right? Cash flow is nevertheless the most important item. And regardless of whether we have pride or not, I think if you want to survive, cash is the king right now. And you have to make yourself investable. And in the worst case, take loans. And I think a lot of governments have give very low interest loan, for example, Singapore, Malaysia, and so forth. Do take a look into that if you are requiring cash flow to sustain you for 6 to 12 months. In fact, some projection is that you need 18 to 24 months of cash to sustain the current slowdown. So get as much as cash as possible, even to the extent of diluting our stacks, and take some outside investment if you are deemed to be investable. I think that's not that's the most important thing. But to me, the other important aspect is the last point, which is basically get close to the market. Otherwise, you have cash, but you can't run well because you are not able to capitalize on the current situations to provide the right solutions to your customers. Get close to the market and get to know what they need right now, what they need before COVID and right now could be different. And then tailor your capabilities into that. And of course, think of a way to be able to reach them and service them more efficiently through online, through partners, through resellers. I think those are the pointers that we need. Otherwise, if you have cash, but you are not able to sell or operate, in this case, you are zombie, right? So in the 18 months, 24 months, you still need to consider a close down. So the 2 points in the middle is actually points that I think we learned. Be ready to change and pivot. We have made quite a lot of changes internally to be able to sustain until now and hopefully continue on as well. The next one is, especially for founders, it's a time for you to actually upgrade and embrace. At least for me in the past is that I do a lot of travel. In 1 month, I travel 2-3 weeks. I may not have time to think, what are the parts that we can upgrade? Can we actually change the company into this process into a better one and so forth? Right now, I think we are mostly working from home. I'm not saying that we have a lot of times, but it's a time for us to slow down and think what are the parts in organizations that require to change. So I think that's a brief sharing on some context in the economy slowdown. I'm happy to take any questions later. Thanks.
Thanks so much for Mr. Kao's speech. It's a really refreshing and vivid speech. If you have any questions or comments now, you can type in the chat room. HoloBase assistant will collect your questions and we will discuss more in the Q&A session. And I want to apologize for the accident again. And thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you. And I will share. Okay, this is the page of Mr. Kao's PPT. I'll show. Okay. Sorry. Our second guest speaker is Mr. Kao. He's the founder of Fundcoin Ventures. Fundcoin.com is an innovative crowdfunding platform based in Melbourne. He has more than 15 years of experience with entrepreneurial experience in the areas of fintech, healthcare, and other fields. So let's warmly welcome Mr. Kao. I will stop sharing first and unmute you. Thank you so much. Sorry, you can start now. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Linda. It is really exciting to be here and speaking to so many people. And just like my congratulations to Mr. Q. I think that was an amazing presentation. It gave some real insights about like how startups need to kind of plan and kind of address the challenges that they are facing right now. That was really wonderful. Let me share my screen. Okay, fine. So like as I was telling, like, thanks a lot for this opportunity. I think it's really wonderful to connect with different people and discuss the challenges that most of the companies, basically startups and kind of mid-sized companies, are kind of going through right now. So just like myself, Abhiram Muntikal. So I am based in Melbourne in Australia. So I started Funcoin Ventures in 2018, actually. So this talk is mainly about surviving during the COVID-19 economic slowdown. So like I just want to share my thoughts about like what were the challenges that we faced and like how we overcame it and like how we took it as an opportunity and saw what we could like what innovative things we could do. And let me just take you guys through that. Okay, so a brief introduction. So the current COVID-19 crisis has caused a worldwide impact on the economic stability, as everyone's aware of it. While hundreds of thousands of people have lost lives, millions are affected by the pandemic in terms of job loss or whatnot. And then thousands of businesses have greatly been impacted worldwide. Everyone's aware of that. Like I just want to recall Charles Darwin theory of which said that the survival of the fittest. While this is rightly valid in the healthcare scenario, like because today we know that definitely it's survival of the fitness, but I think it's also important to see like what should the businesses do to survive during this tough time. So how businesses can plan themselves and future proof themselves and then think of ways by which they can be fit during this pandemic time. So about us, Funcoin Ventures, it's a fintech-based digital agency or platform based in Melbourne, and like I'm here to share our experience about how we are battling this crisis and trying to survive. So about myself, so I'm the founder of Funcoin Ventures. So this is based in Melbourne, and I have more than 15 years of experience in areas of fintech, healthcare, and other areas. So I have had some entrepreneurial experience in the past as well, where I was like we were building some healthcare products for hospitals in India and the US. Actually, that was a decade ago, and I actually, I'm part of various organizations through which I actively conduct workshops for startups, small businesses, job seekers in Melbourne. And I was featured in Indian Medical Association, like one of the chapters magazine, like when I was in India. And I was also featured on ABC News in Australia in 2018. This was part of the workshop where we talk to like various business startups and all who want to start up their business in Melbourne, and like we run workshops to help them set that up actually. So that's pretty much about myself. So let's go ahead. So before I proceed, I just want to explain or kind of remind people about the evolution of the industrial revolution. So this like I just got like I probably picked up these details from somewhere, but I was just trying to observe a pattern over here. So like we know that the first industrial revolution that happened in 1765, and the main aspect over there was the agriculture was replaced by the mechanization as the backbone of the societal economy. So the traditional ways of doing agriculture was replaced by mechanics, machines, and etc. In 1870, like what happened was the second industrial revolution. Here, technological advancements came in, because of which electricity, gas, and oil, they became the new source of energy. Then came 1969, where we had the third industrial revolution, where we had the new sources of energy like nuclear energy, and like we saw the rise of electronics, telecom, and computers. Then in 2000, we had the fourth industrial revolution, as many people kind of want to call it as. So there was emphasis on kind of connectivity, availability, speed, and performance. So that's where internet, mobile, and cloud computing and all came in. And I've just included blockchain over there because it was like from 2000 to 2010. That's where Bitcoin and all really started, and like people kind of started getting an idea of cryptocurrency, etc. Like after that, of course. So, so the question I have finally for the team here is, do you believe that this is probably the start of the fifth industrial revolution? Because if you look at it, the first one to the second one, it took about 100 years. Second one to third one took about 100 years. But but like the fourth and fifth were like so quick. Like it was like 30 years later, the fourth one came, and then now we are in 2020, and like we are seeing like so many problems in the world. And like we always know that whenever there were problems in the world, these problems gave way to new ideas of thinking, and like that's how. Okay, so this is the evolution of the industrial revolution. So like I want people to just sit back and think like what new things are going to happen, and like how can we be part of this probable new industrial revolution, and how can this impact us, and how can we make an impact back to the industry or the whole world. So I just wanted to touch upon the industrial revolution. Let me go ahead now. Let's look at the COVID-19 numbers. Okay, before that, this like I just want to call out a few things. Okay, as part of FundCoin Ventures, what we do is that we work with various businesses who are actually looking for various kinds of funds. Like we work with some organizations who are looking for grants. We advise them like what are the options they have in Australia. It might be for seed funding or crowdfunding, or they can apply for various government grants. And also we come up with reports and we tell them that this is what you can do, and like this is the way you can raise funds and stuff like that. I'll definitely show you some case studies and all. But while doing that, it is important for us to understand like how the different domains have actually been impacted because of COVID-19. So when we did our analysis, like we know that, okay, these numbers over here, they actually tell how the different domains have been impacted. So like it might be retail, or it might be agriculture, service, and also like we know that there are some domains which have been severely impacted because of COVID. And but like on the other hand, there are some domains which are actually thriving, which are actually doing good. Like for example, you might look at cloud computing companies like Amazon and all, like this, like everyone knows that Jeff Bezos has becoming richer every day. So like the point is, there are some areas which actually are taking this as an opportunity, and they are trying to identify what new things could be done, and like how can we address the needs of the a whole world basically. So I just want to call out that three key areas right now, which are actually are kind of moving towards new positive direction, is like the healthcare, media, and telecommunication. Because we know that most of the people are at home, like so telecom is definitely it has taken the upper curve actually. And like what's impacted is retail, tourism, and hardware. And I'm not sure, like from the group of people among the audience here, which domain you guys are part of. But like the thing is, we as part of FundCoin, we keep having regular discussions with our clients who are from all these different domains, and like we talk to them to understand their needs, and we advise them what new things they can do to actually survive the COVID-19. So I have a few case studies as well. So let's look at that. So just to explain what FundCoin exactly does, as I said, FundCoin is basically a crowdfunding platform, and we have come up with an innovative concept of cashless crowdfunding. What cashless crowdfunding means is we are setting up a platform where see for businesses to run, sometimes money might not be the only thing that's needed. Like there are probably hundreds of other things. Like you might want some other service that people can offer. Someone might want to contribute their voluntary hours or something. Someone is good at marketing and he can help with your business. So it's not always cash that's needed to run a business. So this is a platform through which businesses like startups or tech company or like whatever, they can reach out to any kind of funding. It's not exactly cash, it's any kind of funding. So like some of the other things that we do is we actually represent startups at Business Expo. Like there are various startups which are probably like very companies outside Australia, which are not able to showcase their products. So like what we do is that like one simple business model that we have is these businesses, they reach out to us, they actually send us their products, and like we go to various expos and we represent their products. So if you look at the screenshot over here, so there are a couple of businesses in India, China, and other countries. They actually sent us their products saying these are the products that we are selling. So I actually and our team, we actually went to various expos and like we actually set up stalls for them, and then we showcase the products. So we basically generate leads. So this is a very cost effective manner of generating leads for them. And just like the technologies that we use are basically blockchain and big data. So these are used to build our platform. So crowdfunding is one aspect. The second aspect is fundraising campaigns, actually. So while um, just like while Fundcoin is actively building this platform, we are also helping various organizations to run fundraising campaigns and like generate funds. So for this, we basically use innovative machine learning technologies. We have already helped NGOs raise thousands of dollars in Australia, and and like we recently ran a campaign to asking people to donate the savings that they did by staying at home. Like we call this as a train. I mean, this is an example. We called it as a train fare transfer, and the whole idea was people have been staying at home like nowadays, so they haven't been taking the public transport to work. So they are definitely saving on hundreds of dollars. Like I know that the bad thing is like the pandemic has really affected people, but there are people who probably haven't been affected, and like we are requesting them to do some good to others who have been affected. So these are the various campaigns that we run, and like we are helping businesses raise funds and then to support them or become popular or whatever. And the third important thing that we are doing is the startup support and incubation. We have run workshops for startups and entrepreneurs, and like there was a great response from people. So this made us plan the next thing, which we call as a virtual incubation center. So like just like we all know about startup incubation centers, what we really want to do is build a totally virtual incubation center. And the whole idea is we can have people from different parts of the world connect to each other and help different businesses, and probably take a business from Australia to market it to, let's say, somewhere in Europe or like South America or like whatever. So the whole idea of the virtual incubation center is to bring people together, make them work on ideas, take back something, and become really successful entrepreneurs. So there's one workshop that is starting in the next few weeks, and like we are receiving some good interest from applicants actually. And the last thing that we do is we help products to customize as per Australian needs. So there might be businesses in India, China, elsewhere. So we help them in customizing that to Australian needs. Okay, I think we are running short of time. So let me just swift through my slides actually. So how Fundcoin has changed its approaches. So like from our day-to-day activities, you might have realized that it's very important for us to go out on the field and like do a lot of work. Because of the COVID and the lockdown, like we are not able to do any of those things. So before and after, let me quickly tell you how things have got changed. So like before, we had clients in the areas of retail consulting sector, but now we have more clients in the areas of service related or healthcare sector. So that's how we have adapted our solutions to all these clients. And the second thing is, previously people were looking at offline solutions. Now it's all online solutions. People want Zoom, Google Meet, etc. And we were running all traditional campaigns, and like now we have moved on to machine learning based campaigns for like for various needs. So these are some primary things that we have done. And I just want to give one very good use case of Vaidya. Vaidya is a product from Fundcoin Ventures. Let me just check my chat. Just want to make sure I'm not taking too much time. Okay, I think I'm good. So like Vaidya is a wellness platform, and like what we were doing is we were conducting fitness-based treasure hunt activities. So what we do is that we actually place clues in the city, and we make people go around and find the clues, and we give them the prize. So the whole idea is they go around, they burn calories, and they actually win the prize. This idea gained a lot of momentum in Melbourne, and like people really appreciated the idea. Now, of course, with COVID, like all this went for a toss because there's no one coming to office, there's no one coming to city even. So like we were thinking what to do. That's when we thought of an amazing idea of using machine learning to build this activity at home. So we built an in-house treasure hunt activity, and this thing was like so successful. Like so this is a picture of me doing that, and like it's able to track my activities, and like we were able to build this activity like within a few weeks. It was so successful, just like we got appreciated by the deputy chief minister of Bangalore in India as well. Like we kind of presented this for one of the events in India for International Yoga Day, and like this concept was well appreciated by the deputy chief minister as well, which was an amazing thing for us. So the point I just want to stress is I think it's important for startups to look at this as an opportunity to bring up innovative solutions within their businesses and see how they can actually get through the COVID-19. So this is just one use case, and I just want to tell about the expansion plans and like how we would need some help. Well, frankly, COVID-19, because of COVID-19, like many of our ideas has really taken a backseat. But like what we have been doing is we have the concept of internationalization, by which has instilled a great confidence in our clients across the world who want to expand to Australia and stuff like that. So we are working closely with them. We have been approaching government for support for all our machine learning based healthcare initiatives and all. Like that's going slowly, but I think we are also talking to a lot of VCs who are interested in our products that we are building and like how they can support us, etc. So that's the plan going forward. I think like we are also looking for some partners and investors in the Southeast Asian countries who want to look at our concept and like how they can actually kind of help in expanding. So that's the thing. And then finally, this is my last slide. So like I just want to tell people like first of all, don't lose hope. So this is our mantra to reverse the effect of COVID. So you just reverse COVID, and like this is our plan. Like first one is to diversify. So diversify your portfolio to reduce the risk. Second one, innovate, find new ways by which businesses can operate. Then talk to venture capital. Then online first, all the products that you do, think online. And then finally, you need to collaborate with new people. So this is our mantra, and this is working fine for us. And I'm sure it's going to work for you guys as well. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity. It's been amazing interacting with all these people. I look forward to talking to you all. Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Thank you
Linda.
so much. Thank you. Thanks for Mr. Wen Takel's sharing. The evolution of industrial revolution part is really impressive. I like that. So the time is limited now. Why don't we combine the Q&A session and the discussion session together? So anyone wants to ask questions or want to speak up, you can push the heads up button and I will unmute you. And I see that Chris already has a question for Mr. Cao, and Mr. Cao already gave your answers. So you want to use your words or to explain to him or her? Oh, sorry.
Yep, thanks.
You want to speak a few words?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Linda. I think Chris raised the questions on the needs from the customer side, and to me is pretty dependent on who is your customers. For us, our customers is the larger enterprises, mainly from the banks, the financial institutions, and therefore they have different needs. Before that, they always wanted, hey, I want to get new customers. How can we use AI, big data, and data science to do that? And that's what we mostly do. though luckily we do have some other projects in the risk side, and so that's actually before, right? And therefore, the after or during or after COVID is every single discussion is about how can I contain my risk, how can I de-risk? There are a lot of frauds. Can you help me to detect frauds? The credit risk scoring model is not working. Can you help me to fix that? So those are the kind of different problems that the customers are facing. If you have customers already, I think I encourage everybody to talk to them. You'll find a lot more about their current needs. If you still couldn't acquire new customers, I think good to talk to some of the folks that is in the industry you want to focus, and therefore I think you'll get some insights from that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I have a question for Mr. Wintakal. I see that you are doing business both in India and Australia. So do you see any differences in how entrepreneurs cope with the pandemic differently? Do you want to share things about that? I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah, sure. Sure, definitely. That's an interesting point, actually. Just like, because what we have seen is, this like one of the model where we are working is like we are helping people transform from an offline to an online model, right? So like that's the place where we are seeing a major difference, because India is mainly an offline first market. Like things are changing nowadays, but like the way they interact with people and stuff like that. So in India and probably most of the Asian countries are an offline first model, but like that is slowly changing. People have started using Zoom and like Google Meet and other products. Like so that's one thing that is that's clearly changing, and that actually is opening up an opportunity where they can see. Once you go online, you really don't have boundaries. You don't need to restrict yourself to the country. You can easily reach out to other countries, like globally, basically. So this is the main opportunity that people are observing. It might be healthcare, or it might be probably education as well, like healthcare, like people are conducting yoga classes and other fitness classes online. So this wasn't the case a year ago as well. So people are adapting slowly in that direction. So I think that's a new trend. So this was my point about the industrial revolution. I think this is the new thing that's going to happen. Like people move towards the online model, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I see, oh, okay. I used to see people push the hands up button, and now he's gone, so it's okay. I think it's about time, and I will share my screen. Sorry, it's Q&A session and discussion session. So thank you all for your amazing sharings. The above is all the content of this online meeting. We're especially grateful to Mr. Cao and Mr. Winter Cao, and also all of our speakers for the insightful and profound thoughts. And I'm sorry for the accident earlier. And thank you for overcoming the time and geographical differences to participate in our event. Our HoloBase team are planning the next upcoming events, and we hope to see more and more members to participate in this community. After the meeting, we will sort out the content you shared and discussed and share it with other HoloBase users who did not participate in this activity, and with our Chinese users through our parent company, GeekPark, which is a leading tech media in China. At last, I'd like to borrow 1 or 2 minutes from our users. Can you help us fill the questionnaire about this online meeting? You can click the link in the chat room, and we will send it. We will also send it in our WhatsApp group. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us. Thank you so much for your attention and time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thanks. Bye.